Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
That's a pill with 2 screens and it's open and you gotta swallow it.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
I am ashamed to live in this world.
I am Manila. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing.
Welcome everyone to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, and I am here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Yo.
And we are here to talk all things tech these past 2 weeks.
Yep.
So we kind of skipped a week because there wasn't very much news going on. But have you know it? It's like the next day we decided not to. Boom. there's some news.
Yeah.
So we got some gaming. We got some, I mean, let's go ahead and we'll say it. Every tech company, they made a lot of billions of dollars money.
That's true.
Lots of that.
Lots of earnings reports.
We're not going to go into any specifics, I don't think, unless Caleb wants to rant about Intel and their earnings or something. I mean, I'll let him do that.
Wait, is Intel actually making money?
No, they are. Yeah, they're in data centers. That's
that's
all you have to do at this point to make money is just be in data centers.
I mean, I guess the big thing, like on Microsoft's side, it's their cloud stuff that's really just making them the money. Yep. Let's be real, Windows is probably not making much money anymore, but it's there. But I mean, most departments, most tech companies, like we said, making lots of money, and and we're not, so that makes us upset.
Yep, it's great. All these giant corporations made a whack ton of money, and everything that you buy, listener, got more expensive. Aren't you happy about that? You're happy, right?
Happy.
You must be happy because Tim Cook says you're happy. So, because they make such great products, you surely must be happy, right?
You must be happy.
Be happy.
Now. Wow. Wow.
Good times.
Good times.
Quarterly earning calls. Great fun.
Billions. And I wasn't kidding when I said billions.
Oh, yeah.
Billions of dollars. So
hundreds of billions of dollars.
But anyway, we had mentioned Windows. I guess I'll quickly say they've been putting out more things for Windows, the Windows 11. Guess what they released for the Insider build on Windows 11? A slider bar for the HDR.
Oh.
Slider bar. Sweet.
Good job, Microsoft.
Yes, that's where we're at with that.
This really is the feature that we want, especially since so many people have HDR monitors. I feel like this should have been a day one feature. It matters for so many people.
Well, I guess. But anyway, but if you are into that, dear listener, I mean, they've got all sorts of Insider builds that you can mess and tweak and do all sorts of stuff. But you got to make sure you have the computer for it, otherwise they won't allow it. Or you could sideload it, and then it will tell you over and over that your PC is not safe.
I will say, though, that the percentage of people that would be able to utilize this feature that are on the Insider track is going to be higher than those that don't even know what that is.
That's very true.
Yeah, you have a big point. You got it. Yes. You have a point. And, we're glad you're here for those points.
It's valid. That's valid.
Anywho, we'll move on from other companies and corporations making billions of dollars and putting out sliders. Let's go ahead and let's have Landon take this away on things he wants to talk about. Landon, take it away, buddy.
All right. Now, speaking of beta things that people actually care about, Android 13 Beta 1 is available now for those of you on a Pixel device. I think it's Pixel 4 and higher. Maybe yes. Pixel 3. But either way, it's there. Actually, there is a version of this beta that you can get on any Android phone. But you have to know how to do things. And good luck with that. Google basically released a version of this beta that you can flash onto your device. It's basically just a generic version of Android 13. You can also get it without Google Play services if you want. So if you want to know what it's like to have an Android device in China, there you go.
Oh, geez.
Perfect.
Or now Russia, for that matter. There you go.
That's true. Yep.
But, I mean, like, you have to have the bootloader unlocked on your device. You have to know how to flash software on your device. And it's also going to not have whatever skin your phone has on it. So it's not recommended unless you really know what you're doing and you want to have a not great experience with your phone for the rest of its life, I guess. I don't know. But if you have a Pixel device and you want the Android 13 beta, the regular one, then it's now available. There are a lot of new features coming to this beta, but one thing that I thought was interesting, and this isn't actually a feature that's there at the moment, but it's something that was spotted in the code, is signs of spatial audio coming to the Pixel 6 devices. And that's interesting.
Why?
Because they gotta get on that, fancy audio train like Apple.
Yeah, I feel like I need to clarify. Speaking as an Apple person, why?
Yep.
Okay.
So that is there inside the code. And like I said, this is a Pixel 6 thing at the moment. So, and it's not active at the moment. It's just potentially going to be there when it comes eventually, who knows?
Okay.
But that's what I wanted to mention on that. Now, the next thing that is actually something that, more people can utilize and take advantage of is the data safety section inside of the Play Store for apps. Now, this is similar to what Apple did inside of the App Store, requiring developers to tell people what data is being collected inside of their Play or their App Store. What's that called?
Description.
Description. There's the word. Yep.
Words. They're hard.
I wasn't quite sure where you were going with that, but
yeah. But this one actually, Google is actually requiring a little more information from developers, and I like this. I'm hoping that Apple will follow suit. And we actually talked about this. I think this was announced back in October, and we mentioned this, but I want to mention it now that it is live in the Play Store. At least it will be. It either is on your device or it will be in the next week or so. It's kind of a slow rollout. But what Google is requiring of developers is that what data they're asking for what data is being collected, so that's the same as on the iPhone. But then they're asking how it is being used, if it is being shared with third parties, how the developer is storing this data, and then what security measures the developer is using to keep this data safe.
Yeah.
And I love all of these things that Google is asking of. Now, this does require the developer to be honest in all of this stuff. And it's the same thing with Apple. Developers can say what they want, but if they aren't accurate and something happens, it will come back to bite them very hard. And they will probably be kicked out of the Play Store and App Store if they are lying on these, and it proves that they are.
Yep.
But I really like this. I kind of think Apple will probably follow suit with all of this since Google's already doing it. Developers are like, oh, well, I guess we'll do it for Apple if they're going to require it. So it's probably going to be something they announce at WWDC that this is coming to the App Store. But either way,
yeah.
I like that more of these things are happening inside of the app stores on your phones, because then we can know exactly what developers are doing with our data and what data they are getting from us as well. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
What was really interesting about this piece of news is that basically, as soon as, at pretty much the exact same hour Google started releasing these into the Play Store, the quote unquote privacy nutrition facts that are in the App Store all vanished.
Interesting.
We're gone. I'm pretty sure they're back now, but just randomly some glitch in the App Store that coincided almost perfectly with Google's release of this just made all of the apps suddenly they were gone. I was like, huh, That's ironic.
Yeah, interesting. Anyways, but that's actually all the news I have this week. But it's good news, Beta is coming out, and knowing where our data is going, even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to know.
Very good. I really like that.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's move on over to Caleb. Caleb, what you got for us?
So speaking of data that's used to track you, I'm actually going to start off not necessarily with a piece of news, but just kind of a rehashing of the public service announcement that we have discussed myriad different times on the podcast, and that is email phishing schemes. In particular, I want to talk about what is considered to be spear phishing, which is much more targeted than generic phishing, because this past week, I saw the best email scam I have ever seen. Like, it had me going. I'm extremely skeptical of email that I get, and generally speaking, most emails that show up in my inbox immediately get deleted. Just, most of them are ads, and they're obviously ads, and I appreciate that because I can just ignore them. But anything that isn't obviously an ad also pretty much always gets deleted because it's obviously a scam. I've got a pretty good eye for this sort of thing. But this one, they managed to get me to open it and read the entire thing, and then, in confusion and with not a small amount of concern, check my PayPal account on like 4 different devices and the web just to make sure that something was not actually wrong with it before I was confident that yes, indeed, this was a scam email. It was in format and appearance and language and writing style and everything virtually indistinguishable from an actual PayPal email. Just emails I've received from them literally 100 times, basically identical. It was timestamped to refer to a problem. It was basically telling me, like, hey, there was suspicious activity on your PayPal account, and so we've frozen your PayPal account. And here's the time at which the suspicious activity was logged on this date and time. And you need to sign into PayPal to, resolve this issue. And then it had a button to click to log in. Did not click on that link. Do not, listener, click on links in your email. Just don't. Like, you get this sort of thing, you independently go to that website and sign in the way that you normally would do. Don't click on that link. It's going to take you to a website that, honestly, based on this email, would probably be indistinguishable from PayPal's actual website, up to presenting in the shortened URL of your browser, it would say paypal.com, even though the actual URL is not a PayPal URL. And yeah, and then they would you'd put in your account information, and then they'd have your account information. And that's what they're looking for. But it was just so good. Like, the timestamp was about 20 minutes before the email was actually delivered, which that's pretty convincing. Like, hey, we noticed a problem, and then we immediately froze your account and sent you an email telling you about that. It took us about 20 minutes for the automated system to do that. That's actually extremely believable. Like, their cover story was super, super good. So, obviously I didn't fall for this, but it had me going, and listener, you would absolutely be forgiven for seeing stuff like this and freaking out, having a little bit of a panic attack. It's okay. Understand that this happens to the best of us. It's fine. Here's the things to keep in mind. This email had a link. Didn't just ask you to go to PayPal to resolve the issue. They had a link for you to click on. Real emails won't have those links, right? The real email will tell you, please sign into your PayPal account to resolve this issue, and there will be no link. You will go to PayPal, and as soon as you sign in, some kind of dialog box will pop up saying, hey, here's what happened, here's what we've done, here's what you need to do to resolve the problem, and there you go. That's how it'll be for your bank. That's how it will be for all of your social media accounts and stuff like that. They do not put links in these emails because they know that that's how people get scammed out of money. And so they don't want you to be in the habit of clicking on these links. So don't click links in your emails. They won't be there. The other thing, look at the actual email address that it was sent from, right? It's not going to have somebody's name in that address. It's going to be like service@paypal.com. or something like that. Do not reply at facebook.com. It's not going to be like a facebook.com.service or paypal.net or something like that. It's going to be the actual URL that you got it from, and it will not have an actual individual person's name anywhere in that address. Okay, so look at the address of the person that sent it to you. Look for links or the email telling you to click on a link right there in the email. Those are going to be your indicators for whether or not this is an actual thing. And if you're concerned, which is totally valid, independently verify it. Go to the account, sign in, and look around. Because if you're not getting a notification inside of Facebook that says, hey, we froze your Facebook account, then your Facebook account has not been frozen. Okay?
Yep.
It's fine. So there you go. That's nice little review, because quite frankly, this one it's the best I've seen in years and years and years of receiving these things. This one was as close to flawless as I have ever seen before. But a couple of surefire ways to keep yourself safe. Don't click on links in emails, and make sure you check who the email is from.
My favorite ones of those is when I get emails saying that my Apple account is going to be suspended. I don't take care.
Yeah,
those are my favorite ones.
That is a good one. Like, I really love the ones that are all like, oh man, there was some suspicious activity on your Facebook account. And I'm like, I haven't logged into Facebook in like 8 months or something like that. I don't care. Stuff, that sort of thing does happen, where they manage to get exactly the wrong piece of information about you. It's like, yes, I'm sure Wes does have an Apple account. He had an iPod at some point in time.
Okay, fair enough.
He had to have an Apple account of some form in order to basically sign into iTunes. But that was so long ago that even if they did in fact hack your actual Pants Apple account, what would they even get? Like maybe 3 or 4 songs on iTunes, and that's it? Like, I
didn't buy anything. Like,
oh, well, there you go. Nothing. They would have nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nothing. No, those are the fun ones, when it's like, or hey, this $40 thing was purchased on your Apple or your iTunes or something, and I'm like, okay,
no, it wasn't.
Enjoy.
Yeah,
dope.
That's when you log into iTunes and see if it's there, and be like, oh, perfect, download, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
My favorite was the one that told me that my younger brother was a 47-year-old British engineer who had died and left me a large sum of money. I'm like, interesting.
Wow.
Considering he's 10 years younger than me, isn't an engineer, isn't British, and I saw him yesterday. He did not die 10 years ago in an automobile accident or whatever. And then the dude sent me a picture of a passport, as like not the guy who died's passport, his own personal passport, supposedly, as if that was going to convince me he was telling the truth. And I'm all like, well, how dumb do you think I am, man? It was really, really entertaining.
That's
exchange.
when you copy that and go to your dad and be like, Dad, I have questions.
Who is this guy?
Who is this?
Good times. Good times. Anyways, so there you go. That's your friendly PSA for the week. Now, let's talk news. Apple. They're a company. They make a lot of products that I like. They make a lot of software that I like. They also do a lot of things I don't like. But this past week, they made a small question mark step in the direction of being less horrifying. They finally launched their self-service repair program for the iPhone. Now, when they first announced this, we were cautiously optimistic about the positive outcome of this. And now that I'm looking at it and have done a little bit of research on it, it isn't terrible, but it is a little strange. So first, the details. They have a self-service repair site that's actually run by a separate company, not directly by Apple, that kind of manages the database of the repairs and all that stuff. And it is going to give you access to parts and manuals, repair manuals for the iPhone 12, 13 lines, and the 3rd gen iPhone SE. So all that stuff, you're going to be able to get your repairs handled for that. It includes over 200 different replacement parts and tools that are available via their self-service repair store, which is great. And the thing is, these tools are the actual pants genuine tools that Apple has in the Apple stores, right? These are the best quality repair tools that you can get for this stuff, not the Chinese knockoffs on Alibaba. And they cost the same or less than the knockoffs on Alibaba, which is genuinely pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The parts themselves are not, I would not call them reasonably priced, but Apple's parts are very high quality. And so they're expensive, but they're also genuine, and you're guaranteed to get the original quality out of the thing, which is nice. It's the kind of thing where if you wanted like guaranteed high quality repair parts for an iPhone in the past, you would have gone through somebody like iFixit, because they're not sourcing Apple's original parts, obviously, but they're doing their best to get as close as possible to Apple's original quality. And in the case of a screen replacement from iFixit, if you buy the version that includes all of the tools and the screen and all that stuff, that's like $270 or something like that, because those screens are just pricey. Like, even to get through a third-party source like iFixit, they just cost a bunch of money. And that's about what the price is for his screen replacement kit from Apple. So their price is actually, it's expensive, but for the quality of parts you're getting, it's not necessarily unreasonable. Just means that, yeah, you're paying a premium for the premium parts. They also are offering, instead of having to buy the tools, like if you're not wanting to basically start your own iPhone repair shop, you don't actually have to buy the tools from them. You can just rent them. And what you do is you basically pay, it's like $57 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they send you a rental repair kit, which comes in 2 Pelican cases weighing 36 and 43 pounds.
Whoa.
So the $57 you pay isn't really a rental. You're paying the shipping to get them to you and back. Like, I would be surprised if the $57 even covers that fully, depending on where you live. So
it's actually $49.
Is it? Oh,
I'm on their website right now.
Okay. So
7-day rental, $49.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
what's something I thought was really interesting that you can actually purchase tool-wise is a display press, $216. So,
yep.
And this thing's fancy. Or,
oh yeah,
a heated display removal fixture, which is $256.
Yep.
But I mean, if you were going to start a repair store for Apple products, just go here and buy all the stuff.
Seriously. Like, I'll bet you money that there are a ton of independent repair shops that saw this store go live and were like, oh, let's just buy some of this stuff. Like,
yeah.
Because it's Apple's own equipment, right?
Yeah.
This is the stuff that they use in their actual stores for repairs. Like, all the repairs that can be done in an Apple store, you can do them using the tools and manuals on this site. And so, yeah, that's everything from battery replacements and screen replacements, which actually, in terms of the cost, you may as well just take it into an Apple store and have somebody else do it for you, because the out of warranty cost is about the same as paying their repair cost. But if you have to replace something like the lightning port or the rear camera assembly or the Taptic engine, or, just one of a dozen other little pieces of the iPhone, the parts for those are like $40, and then you do the $50 for the rental cost, and so you're into it about $90 or something like that. But to get that repaired out of warranty at an Apple store is like $400.
Yeah.
So it's a huge savings to do some of those repairs yourself. So yeah, like, generally speaking, it seems like a really good program. There is just one giant hiccup with it. And I don't necessarily want to say that this giant hiccup comes as a result of Apple being Apple. It might come as a result of Apple being a little lazy. So, the steps in order to do a repair through the self-service repair program are, you sign in, you basically, you pick what repair is needed, and then they send you over to their service manuals, which are the exact service manuals they use in their stores, and you read through the whole thing. Now, it's somewhere inside of that manual for that repair, there's going to be a secret code inserted. You need to take that code, which is auto-generated for every instance. Like anytime anybody goes to read these things, it's a different code. You take that code back to the site and enter it to say, yes, I did read the manual. It's basically proof. Yeah, you read it. You found the secret code. You plug that in. Then they want you to put in the serial number of the device, right? So you plug that in. Then they queue up the parts, send them to you. If you have the rental kit, you have 7 days to complete the repair, send the rental kit back. After you've done that, you go onto a website, and then you have to either chat via the website with a support person, or you have to call Apple on a 24/7 hotline to say, hey, I did this repair. Please activate my device, which they do remotely over the internet somehow. Now, we haven't obviously had a whole ton of repairs done using this because it literally just launched, and people that would have started repairs the day it launched haven't received their parts yet. So more details of how this actually goes is going to come out in the future. This process seems really sketchy because it's why is Apple insisting that you tie their parts to a serial number on your device? That seems like, oh yeah, we're going to lock this crap down as much as possible and make it so that literally it is impossible to do a repair through anybody else. That could be what's happening, yes. Absolutely valid read of the situation. If you go look at iFixit's blog post on the subject, that is what they're saying, and it's valid. It's totally 100% valid. I'm not trying to discredit that. The flip side of the coin is that these steps use the exact same procedures and processes that are done in the Apple Store. You take a phone into an Apple Store for a replacement screen, for instance. They're going to first, read the manuals, but they'll probably have read them before in the past. So that's step one. Then they're going to take the screen and enter the serial number of the device, right? They're going to pair it with the serial number of the new screen. They're going to perform the repair, and then they're going to hook it up to a piece of software that allows them to verify the screen. It runs through tests and stuff like that. It's the exact same process. The difference being we aren't able to hook it directly up to the piece of software that runs the tests. We have to call Apple and have them run the tests remotely, I guess, because we're too stupid or something. I don't know. So It could be that Apple's just lazy, and so they just basically transplanted the exact process that's used by their technicians in their Apple stores into the self-service repair program. It could also be that they're evil. It's probably some combination of the two, let's be honest.
Yeah. Now, my question is, so I'm looking at this website, and I'm just looking at all the different parts that you can get. And if you look at the SIM tray, you can get a replacement part for that. And you can pick the color to match your iPhone. Now, I want to know, with all of these little hoops you have to jump through to do this, are they going to allow me, who has a Sierra Blue iPhone 13 Pro Max, to get, say, a gold SIM tray replacement or the Alpine Green to make it look weird on my phone? Are they going to let me do that? Or do I have to get the matching one? That's the question.
I really want to know that as well. Huh. Well, maybe I need a new SIM tray for my iPhone.
Also, I did notice, at least on the camera one, if you return your camera module that you had, you get credit.
Yes.
Oh, wait. So, for the 13 Pro Max, has the 3-camera array and all that fancy crap, I can get $30 credit towards the purchase price, which the price on just the camera thing, that doesn't come with the other stuff that you might need, is $111.75. So a $30 credit takes that to $81.75, which is, you know, quite a bit different. So, I mean, that's kind of nice.
I think that is the case for most of the component replacements that you can do. If you send it back, you'll get some kind of a return credit, because the idea is they're just trying to encourage people to send stuff back so they can recycle it.
Right.
Which is good. That's actually really nice for the environment and stuff like that. And is apparently policy. That's policy in their Apple stores as well. If the store itself doesn't, or like an authorized Apple service provider, if they don't send back the parts that they're replacing to Apple, then Apple actually charges them more money. Like, it's not even the case of like, oh, they don't get this credit back on a price they already paid. They paid a lower price to begin with to get the authorized Apple parts in because they're a service partner. But if they don't send back the parts that they're replacing, then Apple like basically just charges them a whack ton more money for those parts. And anyways, so yeah, that's, again, all of this is just the same policy and the same process for their in-store repairs. It just translated onto the customer directly in a way that allows you to save a bunch of money on some of these repairs, knowing that you're going to get really high quality parts out of the whole deal. So seems like it could be good. And it seems like maybe Apple was just cutting corners and they're going to make a little bit more agnostic later on so that you don't have to tie it directly to a serial number or something like that. Maybe that's the optimistic reading of the situation. Could be. Not likely, but maybe legislation will happen that will force them to do that. We can always cross our fingers.
Yeah, it basically looks like they just opened up the program that they gave to third-party repair shops and the Apple stores themselves, just to anyone. Because that's probably exactly what they did. They just made it so it's anybody can do it rather than just these places have access to this website.
Yep. And, that is a positive thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't address a lot of the concerns that like right for repair advocates have, and a lot of the right to repair legislation that's in discussion various places throughout the world. This isn't fully going to address those requirements. So maybe it's just a first step and we're going to see a lot of improvements here in the next few years. But honestly, one of the biggest things that Apple needs to do for right for repair is just stop designing their devices in such an obnoxious to repair way, Stop using adhesive, use screws, stuff like that. So anyways, it's good. We'll just have to keep an eye on it and see how things go. And actually, I'll just talk about this now. My next piece of news, more and more regulation from the European Union and Japan have come out over the past few weeks they're discussing about that are going to affect companies like Apple in some possibly pretty major ways. One of the prominent ones, for instance, in the EU is that they're going to be requiring basically everybody who sells a computing platform to have a USB-C port on it. So, like,
wow,
hard requirement. If you want to sell that device in the European Union, then it's got to have a USB-C port. So it remains to be seen whether or not Apple's going to be able to weather that particular storm. There was also some legislation floated through Japanese parliament this past week, or the Japanese legislature. I called them parliament. I'm not sure. They might be a parliament. I don't know. That is going to require platforms like Apple and Google to at least allow sideloading. They don't necessarily have to encourage it, but it has to be possible and valid, like accepted. So, there's stuff like that is happening, and right to repair is right in there alongside those other pieces of legislation. So remains to be seen how this is going to affect and how Apple's going to respond to this stuff. But some of this legislation is supposed to be coming into place this year and will be in effect in 2023. So that doesn't give Apple a lot of time to go completely wireless if they don't manage to do it this year. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that the way the European Union's requirement for a USB-C port was worded wouldn't actually allow Apple to sell a completely portless iPhone. It's too big. Like, basically the only way you can get around this requirement in the EU is if your device is too small to fit a USB-C port. So like smartwatches and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be interesting to see how that plays out.
So if you live in the European Union, listener, and you want an Apple product that's not a laptop or a computer, buy
or
it
an iPad
now. Or an iPad, I guess.
It's literally just the iPhone.
Well,
It's just
AirPods,
the
iPhone, AirPods.
I actually think that the AirPods would be exempt because of their size.
Oh, that's stupid because it can fit a USB-C port perfectly fine.
Oh, it absolutely could. Absolutely could. And it might be the kind of weird thing where like the AirPods Max wouldn't be exempt, but like the little guys in the case would be. I don't know. It's
either way.
I'd have to dig into it more, but
buy one now because Apple just won't sell products there. Probably.
No, it's their second largest market. They have to sell products there.
Yeah.
Especially, well, I mean, the iPhone isn't as big there as it is in places like Japan, but yeah, it's a significant chunk of their profits. They have to play ball.
Yeah.
So if the EU manages to pass some of this legislation, then it may very well just be like, yeah, 2023 iPhones have USB-C ports. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there.
I have hope. We'll see. That being said, I would love to have some actual hardware news. The past few weeks have been just a whole lot of like event news where things have been happening, and none of it is really great news a lot of the time. For instance, Netflix. They had an earnings call a couple of weeks ago and announced that they have lost subscribers for the first time in a decade, which is kind of big news considering that they have been saying for years and years and years, oh no, we're just going to keep on growing. They're blaming account sharing combined with pulling out of Russia. To be fair, I get pulling out of Russia, slowing down your subscription increase because like, yeah, there's a lot of people in Russia that obviously can't sign up for Netflix now. And I think that pulling out of Russia was the right thing to do, to be absolutely clear to Netflix. That, yeah, you're good there. That said, don't blame account sharing because the people that are sharing accounts are not, like, they wouldn't be paying for your service anyways. And if you block us all, like, suddenly, we're sure as heck not going to feel super great about that. So, I don't know. Just don't kill account sharing, Netflix.
Yeah.
That's my thought. Maybe focus on making good content. I don't know.
I do like that we had a post in our Slack about Netflix, but it was like as the pandemic hit, and Netflix was like, it's okay to share a password. And it was a quote of Twitter of them saying that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, so yeah, that happened. I don't necessarily feel super bad for Netflix because they still made a whack ton of money. They lost some subscribers, so I guess they didn't make as much money as they wanted to, but I'm sorry. I don't actually feel that bad. Oh no, we only made $100 billion instead of $120 billion. Freaking shut up. Like, nobody cares. Anyways.
They do.
The other big piece of news, I love this. Elon Musk, he's buying Twitter. Like, it's just
it's happening.
The Twitter board accepted his offer of $44 billion for the social media platform. And so, obviously it still has to go through legislative approval or regulatory approval, not legislative, regulatory approval in various different markets. And, like antitrust investigations will probably happen. And the shareholders at Twitter have to approve it. But if all this happens, he's going to privatize the entire platform. And we'll have another Facebook and Instagram situation on our hands, which, cool. That's what I wanted. Like, don't get me wrong. Twitter is kind of a cesspool sometimes, but at least it's a free and open cesspool. A weird way to put that. But, Elon, just, I don't know. Elon Musk is really funny sometimes. Not because he means to be, but just because he's kind of funny to laugh at. But I don't know. I just don't really have much liking for the guy. And it feels like all of my problems that I have with, like, Tesla, for instance, has nothing to do with Tesla. They have great engineers that are trying to do awesome things. And sometimes they succeed as long as Elon doesn't get in the way first. Like, all of my problems with Tesla are problems with Elon Musk. And I feel like that's just what's going to happen to Twitter is like, oh, great. All of my problems with Twitter are now problems with Elon Musk instead of actual problems with Twitter. So cool, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's my tech news. Like I said, I would love to have some hardware news. Even software news would be great instead of talking about billionaires buying social media platforms and stuff. That just is not my jam.
Well, it's coming, I guess. We got all these, things happening. But.
That's true. But, like, I don't know. June cannot come fast enough,
Right. We'll get there. We will. Well, let's go into our next section of gaming. Let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and let's talk about, it's not a billionaire, but $1 billion company that's buying Activision Blizzard. So the investors actually approved the merger with Microsoft. They did that whole spiel, and I guess it was quite a success. They said it was like 98% of them were like, yes.
Wow. I mean, I feel like that tracks, though. I don't know anybody that's real upset about Activision Blizzard losing the control of them. Like, look, you guys haven't been doing a great job with it. Let's let somebody else take a crack.
Yeah, I mean, they'll get paid a lot of money for it too. So
yeah, that's true.
On there, so I mean, yay. Yeah, I guess I think overall on this podcast we're all pretty much like, yeah, this is a good thing. So it's not anything like, oh, they're gonna try and do this. No, just for Blizzard, yeah,
buy them.
We're good. Speaking of Blizzard, this past week was the Overwatch 2 beta. Well, I guess the alpha did come out, but then the beta was a week later. A lot of people have been really enjoying it. I mean, if you look at it, obviously Twitch streams are going to be high. I mean, that doesn't really tell you anything, but the reason why they're high is because you get into the beta by watching a Twitch stream for 2 to 4 hours or something.
Yeah, well, so, you did on the first day that the beta was live.
Okay, yeah. Anywho, but I mean, we used to talk about Overwatch all the time on this podcast.
Well, it's because Overwatch used to change and do new things.
Remember how much we talked about Junkenstein?
Oh, yeah. No, good times. And honestly, Overwatch 2 looks fantastic. Like, it looks like the giant content update that we've been waiting for in Overwatch 1 for well over a year, like, at this point. So, yeah, I'm generally pretty positive about it. Looks like a fun update, and, like, the game will feel familiar, but also has a lot of nuance to it that is new and different and kind of exciting. And there's a new character, there's new maps, an entirely new game mode, and 2CP is gone, baby.
2CP? Really?
The capture point thing. We had to capture the 2. Oh my gosh, I hated that because it was possible to play that single match in competitive mode for like 30 minutes.
True.
Not super great. If you had like both teams were really good at attack but sucked at defense, you could just go back and forth like 6-7 rounds. Not great. So anyways, there's a lot to be positive about, but I'm gonna withhold my real thoughts and comments until I actually have played it. So I need a beta key, which means I'm going to be watching a lot of Overwatch League this coming weekend, listener, because that's also starting on like May 5th. So
I'll probably be watching quite a bit of that just to see this new stuff. Like, I'm not. Yep. It's not that I'm skeptical of the taking away the second tank idea, but like I want to see how good it is. Like, I haven't been able to watch it this week. I've been working a lot, so I haven't actually seen. But I'm actually excited to see the change because at first I'm like, that feels, because it's so hard to play tank. I enjoy playing tank. I love Ryan. I'm just a Ryan. But then to not have that backup, if you will, like that scares me because I'm like, what are you giving me?
Yeah.
Like, because if I die, it's, you know what I mean?
The game looks like it plays so much faster now because the tanks have to be like, you can't just kind of like slowly muscle your way onto a point or something like that. You have to be quick and scrappy and brawly. And just really, like, the tanks have to be that way, the DPS have to be that way, and then the healers have to be able to keep them all up through it. Like, it's a much faster, more chaotic mode of play with just the one tank. But, and like, the reworks they've done for the tanks are also intended to make them scrappier and more brawly. So, and Doomfist is a tank now, so.
I want to see that play. I want to see it play.
It's so weird. I'm not sure how to process that,
Yes.
But yeah, so it looks really interesting. I don't know. I do want to see the Overwatch League because all of season 5 is going to be played on the Overwatch 2 beta. So,
which that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to do that, and I want to try and get a team, and start rooting for it because you can support the teams that way when you buy their little credits, or you watch and you get credits. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to get a logo of theirs or whatever. I just don't know what team. I really don't.
Gladiators.
I guess Gladiators, are they the closest to us?
LA Gladiators. I mean, there's another Los Angeles team, and I guess technically San Francisco is probably, as the crow flies, closer. But no, Gladiators. Do them. Also, they might actually win this year. Yeah, they've been saying that for the past 3 years, but it might be real this time.
I don't know. I like green, so that's why I thought Houston.
Houston had a really promising start of the first season, and then last season, they had some moments of brilliance that I was like, oh yeah, Houston looks like they could really be a big boy in the game, but I don't know. I think actually this weekend starts with the Battle for Texas, hosted by Houston, and the big headline match is going to be Houston versus Dallas. So we'll get to see them pretty early on this season. So
I'll have to set a reminder for myself.
Should be fun.
But definitely. So still with Blizzard, let's go ahead and let's talk about Diablo.
Hell yeah.
Diablo Immortal. That was a thing that happened a few BlizzCons ago that not a lot of people liked. And they actually just came out.
People not have phones?
Yeah. They just came out and gave a release date for it, finally. It's going to be June 2nd of this year. It's also, that same day, it's going to be released on PC, a beta form of PC.
Yep.
For Diablo Immortal as well. And it's going to be cross-play and everything, so cool. Cool.
Cross-play and
Diablo?
cross-progression that they did
the
specify
end
both.
progression?
Yep.
Oh, now Wes has to play it.
Yep.
There you go.
Until they give me my Diablo 3 cross progression or play.
Seriously. No,
listen, Overwatch. Listen, cross progression. Listen, I get it, but the cross play that's in Overwatch right now is amazing. So we've had a Switch player here. So we had Switch player here playing Overwatch, 2 Xbox players, and a PC player. We all got in and then just enjoyed the heck out of it. Okay, so you can do this, Blizzard.
So fun detail, in the Overwatch PvP beta for Overwatch 2, cross progression is there. You sign in and all of your skins from the original game show up. Now, so far, that's only for PC because it's only available for PC right now.
Right.
But maybe they're actually going to deliver on this promise that, yes, cross progression in Overwatch 2. So,
see, I maybe. The reason why I say maybe is because when you go to the website right now and you log in to Overwatch 2, it has all 3 separated. So it shows PC on accounts that I have, PC, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox, and each one has a different level.
Yes.
So,
but
I'm hoping.
That's obviously going to change, though, because the game isn't even available on those other platforms yet, Like,
you're right.
That's just Overwatch. So, like Overwatch 2, we got no idea how they're going to handle that. They did promise cross-progression. We'll see if they actually deliver on that, but yeah.
I think they'll just get rid of Overwatch 1 and just give everybody Overwatch 2 PvP version, and then just pay for the campaign
for the single
or whatever.
Player stuff, yeah. I don't know. That would be really nice, but I kind of suspect probably not. I suspect that for a few diehards, Overwatch 1 is going to exist just because they like the 6v6 style, that slower style of play.
Oh, they wouldn't get rid of that, huh?
I don't know. I just have no idea. The original, when they announced Overwatch 2, their original plan was to make all of the changes they made to Overwatch 2 in Overwatch 1 as well. All the hero editions, the map editions, the game modes, all of that stuff was going to happen in Overwatch 1. But then they switched to 5v5. And I'm pretty sure that once they did that, that dream was broken. Like, I don't think that Overwatch 1 is ever going to get the 5v5 gameplay that Overwatch 2 has, because it would require way too many tweaks. Like, all of the characters have to change. All of the maps have to be rebalanced. All of this stuff has to be changed in order to fix it. And they'd have to do all of that in an old engine that wasn't optimized for this gameplay. So
true.
I don't think that's going to happen. But the best that they could do, like, please give us the cross progression as we come forward. And the fact that cross progression and cross play are both supported by Diablo Immortal does give me some hope that we're going to start seeing that more and more as they move forward.
And I would assume because Microsoft definitely would want that as well. So
yeah,
I'm hoping. I like everyone. I'm hoping that we want this. I'm not trying to be a naysayer. I try not to get my hopes up, but yet I want to get, so.
Yep.
It's fair. Anyway, but so Blizzard's got a lot of hype going on right now, which is cool. Like I'm glad that we're trying to get the good news for them. Obviously, there's still some issues that's going on. But
yep.
I want to try and shine a different light on them and not like a dark black light. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's skip over to another company. Let's talk about some Sony stuff. One thing I did see, which I think is really cool. The PS5 controller now can support firmware updates on Windows PCs, when before it was only if you had a PlayStation 5 on there. So good news.
Yeah.
I've never used I don't know how versatile a PlayStation controller is, say like compared to the Xbox one is. Versatile as in using it in different like Windows PC or a laptop. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I can't be like yay or nay, but I would assume this is good.
Not supporting the X input standard obviously means that it doesn't work as seamlessly with Windows. At least the PlayStation 4 controller didn't. Like, is it possible to get translation layers that will allow it to function? Yes. And are there some games available, like in Steam and that sort of thing, that natively recognize it and use it just fine? Absolutely. In terms of the DualShock 5 being any better at that sort of thing, I genuinely have no idea whether or not it is. But I will say that any game that you play on PC that was optimized for the haptics that are available in the DualShock 5, you're gonna get a better experience using the DualShock 5 than you are using anything else. So, yeah, like, I can understand why they would want to make this possible so that they may very well be able to sell some DualShock 5s to hardcore PC gamers that just really want to enjoy God of War. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it is a app. They said it's a Sony's firmware updater app. It's available. So that's where you do it. And then you just need the USB cable and there you go.
Yeah, well, that's good.
So I did want to mention that. So if you are a PC gamer that wants to enjoy those features that it comes with, sick. Also on Sony, let's continue talking about them. But something that I reported a couple podcasts ago, talking about ads in free-to-play games. Sony is also exploring that idea as well. So, okay. I mean, like I said, this is from what people are saying that this is supposed to be. Is it's just supposed to be more of like controlled ads? Say like if you're racing and you're on a racing game, they can actually put ads on billboards on the racing game, basically, to do that, to give them revenue that way is what it is. It's not supposed to. Supposedly, it's not supposed to be like, in your face all the time. So if like Gatorade gave them a bunch of money, you'd see Gatorade up on their signs and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
I mean, I hate ads, but I mean, okay, I don't know.
Yep. I don't know. Just this past week, I managed to get both of my kids absolutely hooked on the concept of games with no ads. They've both discovered Apple Arcade is available on their phones.
Sick.
And they're like, can I play this game? Can I play this game? And like, whereas before with mobile games, I'm usually like, nah, that has a lot of ads and I can't really control what content you see via those ads and stuff like that. And some of those ads are going to redirect you to the App Store and try to get you to download stuff and then try to get you to spend money on it. And I'm just like, nah. But then Apple Arcade, it's like, yeah, sure, give it a shot. See if you like it. And so they found like all of these new games that they're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And there's no ads. I don't have to pause between every single level and watch like 30 seconds of an ad just so that I can do another 30 seconds of gameplay kind of thing. So they're both over the moon with that concept.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's what I try to do with say like my kids' devices like the tablet. I have just Game Pass on it.
Yeah.
Yep. Do that stuff. So
I want to say though, just because it got brought up, ads on iOS are so much worse than on Android. Like,
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
So much worse. I hate it.
It's
like, to get past an ad inside of a game, you have to do a minimum of 2 clicks. Minimum. Usually it's 3 or 4, and it, like Caleb said, takes you to the App Store. I've never seen a game that does that on Android. It never takes me to the Play Store, and it's usually 1 click, maybe 2. But man, they're so bad on iOS. So bad.
The issue is the way that Apple has implemented the UI support for stuff like that is just garbage. Like, to the extent where, like, and they allow the advertisers to basically hide the skip or close buttons for like 30 seconds of the ad playing. So you have to watch like 20 seconds of this thing, and then you get a skip button. That the targeting on that thing is minuscule. But if you manage to hit it, then it skips you to the end of the ad, in which there is a close button. And then you can hit that close button, and theoretically it will go away. But again, the target is tiny. If you miss either of those targets, you're redirected to the App Store.
Jeez.
And it
sucks. Even some of those targets just take you to the App Store, because then you go out of the App Store and it takes you to a different screen that you close out of.
Yeah,
they're awful.
It's bad.
Ooh.
And it's the worst part of it is that there are so many games that are designed to redirect you to the App Store. Like, that's all they, like, the levels, you literally, like I said, you can play about 20 seconds of gameplay, and then you're going to die, or you're going to run out of energy, or you're going to whatever, you're going to finish the level or something like that. And then you got to watch another 30 seconds of ad before you can move on to the next 30 seconds of gameplay. Literally 50% of your time in this app is going to be spent watching ads. And assuming you don't ever actually click on the ads, because if you accidentally do that, then it's going to jump you out to the App Store every single time. When you come back in, it's going to start the ad over again.
Ooh, boo.
So, predatory apps, like predatory ads in mobile games, is a serious problem. And Sony, please, just don't.
Yeah.
Don't encourage it. Keep that crap off of your platform, for the love.
Gosh, that sucks. That irritates me. Let's talk about something else.
Bad.
Oh, all right. Let's skip over to Microsoft. Let's talk about them. They had actually just announced on June 12th, they're going to have their Microsoft, Xbox, and Bethesda game showcase. They said it's going to happen. They said it's going to be on, and so this is around E3. They always start on that Sunday. It's going to be 10 a.m. Sunday.
E3 is happening even without E3.
I mean, yeah, and I'm excited. Still, I don't know. It gets that close, and I just get excited for it. So.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of fun announcements come out of these things. So,
I mean, it's going to be interesting because there's so much to talk about, and
yeah,
I'm hoping. I don't know. I'm hoping they give it time.
What platforms do you think Skyrim's going to be launching on this year?
I mean, yeah. I mean, what was it on the Echo last year or the year before?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a mobile version of Skyrim yet. Like, honestly, Bethesda, what are you doing?
Like, let's be real. Skyrim is like the new version of Doom. Like,
except it's not nearly as well optimized, so it doesn't run on hardly anything.
Correct. Okay, yeah, you got me there, but it's just like on everything and re-released, and anyway, so
many re-releases.
So it's going to be cool. Obviously I'm excited. I'm a fan of it. They're going to be talking both Xbox and Bethesda and just everything. And so like there's so much like coming on all these studios. Like I'm wondering if they're going to break it up into different days, cuz I mean, unless this is going to be like 3 to 4 hours long. Oh my goodness.
They're not constrained by the confines of E3. Why not?
It's true.
Make it 3 hours or 4 hours long. Like,
it's true. I don't know. Maybe break in the middle or something, because I don't know. I'm excited. I want to see stuff. I want to see what's coming. It's going to be so cool. I really.
We now give you an intermission for your press.
Yeah,
event.
Please go take a whiz and come back.
Oh my gosh, the lines at those bathrooms are going to be insane.
So, but it's going to be on YouTube and Twitch. And they said other platforms will have like 30 different languages, so it'll be kind of cool. Sometimes I would recommend Twitch just because sometimes they'll do certain drops for certain games. So you can sit there watching and all of a sudden, boom, here's a Halo skin, or here's this because we're talking about this. You get this. Like, they've done that all the time. So that's just me suggesting it.
YouTube has been adding in the ability to, to tie your accounts to your YouTube account for live streaming rewards like that. Like they've been adding that slowly in for different
League,
platforms. Right? Yeah, Overwatch League was one of the earlier ones. Blizzard partnered with them to do that. But since then, I'm pretty sure Microsoft has allowed that as well. And so you may very well be able to watch the stream on YouTube and get the same drops as Twitch.
They've been doing that. So, but yeah, I'm excited. It should be exciting for, I think, everybody. I mean, this is not just Xbox, it's Bethesda. So, I mean, you're going to see, I mean, the new Doom or the new I'm assuming Indiana Jones may be on this. Obviously, Starfield. They're going to really give out their everything that they announced. I mean, there's so many I can't think of them right now.
This is going to be kind of an interesting one because this will be the one that kind of shows us whether or not Bethesda is going to be just an Xbox exclusive brand from now on. If we see a whole bunch of stuff here that's all like, this is coming to all the platforms just like it always has in the past, then that's very encouraging. So, we'll kind of be able to get a feel for that at this event.
Well, they did. I mean, don't get your hopes up on this. They did confirm Starfield is Xbox. Let me rephrase that. Game Pass only.
Right.
I think they said so. Or you can get on the Xbox platform, but
that was a timed exclusive, wasn't it?
What I now gather, it's theirs.
I'm trying to remember. But yeah, it's the sort of thing where we're just not sure exactly how that stance is going to shake out. But by the end of this event, we'll probably know.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to tell us a lot, and I would love to see what they do with Fable. So let's be real. I want to see it. I want to see what Playground Games does with that, and obviously all the other games. And I mean, gosh, there's so much coming out, Caleb. Like, you thought we had a backlog now.
Oh yeah, I've given up on the backlog, man. Like, I'm at the point where, I don't know, I could stop buying new games today and probably never actually run out of new games to play just based on everything that I currently own. Like, I don't need to upgrade my computer, don't need to buy any new consoles. As long as I can keep this crap running for the next 50 years, I think I'm set.
Seriously. Like, right? No, I'm excited for it. It's going to be great. I feel it's going to be great. We're going to see all the new stuff, all the new next gen big games. And here's a question. Indiana Jones, third person or first person? What do you think, Caleb? Doesn't matter.
It kind of doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's an adventure game. Third person is usually better for those. Yeah. It's just like being able to see your character interact with stuff it's more immersive for that sort of gameplay. The first person stuff where they're trying to give you like an adventure, like your character is interacting with stuff, it just never sells right to me. It always looks really goofy to have your character's arms just kind of like basically come out of your ears and wrap around in front of your face to do stuff. And I'm like, it just looks weird. It just looks weird. Stop it. Just show me the end of the gun and I'm good. Like, oh my heck.
Well, my brothers get after me because like I'm new to the Fallout franchise and I play the third person, or Skyrim, I play the third person view. And they're like, what are you doing? Everything's wrong about this.
That is genuinely how that should be played. Like, quite frankly, like I get that the Elder Scrolls franchise started out as a first person franchise and everything, but I'm sorry, swinging a sword in first person looks goofy as snot. It just, as a player, it looks so ridiculous. And third person, I feel like those games always should have been third person, especially the Elder Scrolls games. Fallout, people that are all like, oh yeah, Fallout you should be playing that first person. I'm like, are you kidding? The original Fallout games were like isometric RPGs.
Yeah, true. And then we got the people that are back there like, come on, you fools.
It's like, it's the most third person you can possibly be.
Yep. So yeah, it's anyway, let's wrap this up. We went on a tangent.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
We could go for hours, probably.
June 12th.
We probably will go for hours.
Oh gosh, we're gonna have to have like whole episode just for that. And then I'm sure, I haven't heard, I tried looking it up. I didn't see if Sony was going to do the same thing. Usually Sony has it like there's a day or two later.
Yeah.
So they haven't announced it, but obviously those big things are coming.
Yeah.
It's good to see that it's announced. Everything, obviously. And so, which means there may not be a lot of game news till then. So
That's
this next
true.
month of May, it might be pretty shy on stuff. Unless, like...
That's usually how it goes, unfortunately.
Yeah, unless, like, Blizzard keeps doing stuff.
Yeah. Once we get into the developers conferences, because, like, Google's is usually in the middle of May sometime. And isn't the Build conference usually in May, too?
Yeah.
So, we'll get into those. We'll have some software news to talk about. But yeah, the game stuff, that's going to hit hard and fast at the beginning of June, right alongside all the Apple software news. And I freaking hate that those overlap. Bugs the crap out of me.
Didn't we do we did like a 2-episode, didn't we? Like a 2-parter one time.
Yes.
There was just so much news.
Yeah. No, we absolutely have split those into separate episodes in the past. And honestly, we probably want to do that this year as well. And what we may actually end up wanting to do is like just each individual conference like gets its own episode. Like this one's just about Microsoft. Let's just about Sony. This one's just about the Nintendo Treehouse event and stuff like that.
I'll tell you what, listeners, on Patreon for us, I'll tell you what, we could get together and actually do a reaction on one of these, and patrons can choose which one we actually react together, all together, us three watching, whether it's a Nintendo, a Sony, an Xbox, and really take a look at it. Okay? I bet we could do that.
Heck,
can we? Let's do that. So,
I commit to that.
Yeah, we can vote. You guys vote. Let us know, and we'll do that. We'll do a recording of our reactions or something like that. So
we might even be able to live stream the thing.
We probably could.
It would just be at a weird time because your guys' work schedules are so bizarre. But
I'm sure I could try and take the day off or something just to figure it out. I would love to have Landon's reactions. To be honest,
doesn't seem convinced.
I was going to say I'd be willing to let you guys do that at any times. If I can't be there, I can't be there.
Whatever.
I'm not sure we'd even notice if it was one of the gaming conferences. We could just say Landon's here, and then he just wouldn't say anything the whole time.
Landon's
Nobody
here.
would know any different. It's Landon's just off camera over on this side. Yeah.
I loaned him my
hi,
Switch. He's going to be playing some Switch for a minute. So, although I don't know, I think it'd be fun to see. I mean, anyway, that's all my gaming news that I have for these 2 weeks. Go ahead and pass over to Caleb. Do you have anything for us for gaming?
I don't. Nope. That was pretty much it. Just Blizzard stuff.
Yeah, Blizzard. All right. Well, unless Landon has one more thing.
No.
The streak is broken again. Man, you never know with all this gaming news. Your streak might start picking up here this next month or two.
It's possible.
It'll be fun. All right. Well, dear listener, we're here at the end of the episode. We appreciate you listening, tuning in. If you want to get a hold of us, you can at our social media platforms, as well as callingallplatforms.com. If you want to check out any videos, you can go to the YouTube and check out Calling All Platforms Games or Calling All Platforms Tech. All right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.